Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's press conference. The Bulldogs are at home again this weekend. We'll take on Mercer here at 2 o'clock. I'm here to talk about the Bulldogs head coach, Brent Thompson.
Thank you, John. I'll get comfortable here. First of all, let me congratulate D. Delaney last night. Had his interception with his first start. Had a few tackles there, so I'm happy for him and excited for him. I know he's put a lot into that and had a great summer up here, so happy to see him doing well. If you would have asked me about Western Carolina last week, and I was kind of nervous about this one because this is a football team that, although they hadn't won a game, they were very, very close. And if you look at it very closely, the only thing that they did was hurt themselves. They beat themselves just about in every single game. And I got to hand it to them in the bye week. They got a lot of things figured out. They did turn it over twice, and they did give us a short field position on the punt. But to be honest with you, I thought they came out with a great game plan, both offensively and defensively. They changed up their defensive structure on us, so it took us a little while to get adjusted to that on the offensive side. Unfortunately, we didn't play very well on the defensive side for the first half. We forced them into 3 punts in the second half, made some adjustments on the defensive side, and kind of got a few things ironed out on the offensive side. And I was happy with our guys. I thought we came out in the second half and gave ourselves an opportunity to at least, we created a turnover, had an opportunity to go down and score, and we really had the ball around the 30-yard line to make it a tie football game and get back into a game that we probably had no business being in after the first half of play. Sputtered out right there at about the 30-yard line, couldn't get it on the fourth down try, unfortunately, and then they took a two-possession game on us. We were able to squeeze it back down to 14 at one time, and the game just kind of got a little bit away from us at the end of the fourth quarter. So happy with the way that they fought. We need to be better in the first half. As we know, we can't get that deep in the hole. Same thing happened to us at CSU. We've got another week this week. We've got 4 more games. I told the guys that if we still got a chance here, we got a chance to have a winning season, and that's what we got to look forward to. Go out there every single day and just keep on fighting. That's all we know how to do, and we've got a good football team coming to town in Mercer. We're excited to get back out there on the field, get back to practice tomorrow. We've got a couple of guys that are banged up. We'll see about how that goes here in the next day or two to whether those guys can play or not. Questions?
Is Jalen Adams one of the guys that's questionable?
Yeah, Jalen's questionable. Yeah, he'll probably be here in the next day or so. We'll make a little bit more clear on where we think he's going to be.
If he can't go, is Derek?
Yeah. Yep, Derek would be the next guy, and then Ahmad Green would be the backup.
Coach, what went wrong in the first half on defense?
Everything. Number one is, from the first play, it hurt us. And just as we know, when we jump on teams in the first play, we kind of get them on their heels. But they throw a post ball. We've got a post defender there. He just kind of sucked down a little bit on an out route. And they pick up 40, 50 yards on the first play. Now, we did a great job. We got them to third down. They run a little rub route on the goal line right there, and they make a good play for a touchdown. So I think from the first play, from then on, we backed off a little bit too much. We tried to keep the ball in front of us too much. We played cover 3 most of the day in the first half, and tried to keep the ball in front of us, and then they just end up coming and just kind of hurting you on the short, wide. Really the running back game kind of hurt us a little bit on the dunk routes a little bit. So that's kind of where we just couldn't get them off the field.
Going back to Jeff's question about these injuries, I know you've put a heavy emphasis on playing a lot of younger guys in the spring. Now that you're kind of banged up with injuries, how much confidence do you have in these guys who got some reps in the spring?
Yeah, we're going to have to play some younger guys, or we're going to have to play some older guys that got more reps in the spring. Kyler Estes is going to have to play in there a little bit more. Saul Diaz is going to have to play in there a little bit more because right now you've got Anthony Britton, who's been out the last 2 weeks, and then possibly Willie Eubanks. It's another one that's a little bit up in the air. We probably won't find out until maybe later on today or tomorrow about what exactly his situation is going to be. So we played Jamaison, a true freshman, in there. I thought he came in and did a good job in the second half. Not an ideal situation for him, but a guy that's put in work, and here we are in week 6. He kind of knows what's going on in there, and he plays tough.
Coach, going back to last fall, the spring, this fall, what would you say about the direction of Citadel football?
Well, right now, I think it's we're way better than we were in the fall. Number one, we're way better than we were in the spring. Number two, but what you're finding out right now, Jeff, is it's not necessarily Citadel football. It's where NCAA football is right now. If you take a look at schools like Western Carolina and schools like Chattanooga that are replenishing their rosters at such a higher rate than we can replenish our roster right now, with transfers. When you look at it, they took 33 transfers just from last spring to this fall at Western Carolina. They can go ahead and they can replenish that a lot quicker than we can right now. So it's going to take us a little bit longer to rebuild all of that back up again. Now, do we have some older players playing? Yeah, we still won't graduate a whole lot of guys even next year. We still have some guys with fifth-year possibilities next year, but the market is flooded, and we saw this with basketball, and we're starting to trickle down to football, but the market is flooded with fourth, fifth, and sixth-year players that all have 1, 2, and sometimes 3 years of eligibility left. So why go get a freshman out of high school when you can just rebuild your program that quickly with an established college player that you know what you're getting right there. So that's where it's really where the college game has gone with the new transfer regulations, the new transfer portal. That's kind of, we're going the way of basketball at this point.
What's your biggest, I don't know, frustration or disappointment about where the team is right now this season? If you have one.
Well, we could be a little bit better on defense. We could defend the ball a little bit, but we took some secondary hits early on in the year on that side of the ball. But you're going to take injuries. You're going to take some things that are completely out of your control. What I like to see is get off the field a little bit more, create some more short field opportunities and some punting. Yeah, of course, but just the way that it goes, play a little bit better defense, I guess, and really be more ball control on the offensive side. I think there's opportunities where on Saturday we had a chance to tie the football game. We had an opportunity to kill a little bit more time against ETSU, and then Furman game, we just didn't score enough points.
What's your take on Mercer? They beat Furman pretty soundly, and they got stomped by VMI.
Yeah, if you watch the VMI game, it's like the Western game. It's like the Western previous games. They killed themselves. If you look at the stat line right there, Mercer was not the Mercer offense that you know and that I've seen. If you look at it, they turned the ball over. They turned the ball over in their own territory a few times. I believe the first play from scrimmage went for 6 for VMI. So it wasn't all what VMI was doing, although they did have a pretty good offensive game plan going into there. It was just kind of a little bit what Mercer wasn't doing, and they just kind of hurt themselves. So I think it's a very good football team. They're very talented, but they're not very old either. He's still putting together quite a good nucleus of young players.
I know the game has changed a lot since that 2016 SoCon championship team, but what do you remember from what made you guys successful then? Is there any way to translate that to a 2021, 2022 college football season?
Well, the league has changed quite a bit itself. This used to be a run-dominated league between Furman, Wofford, ourselves, and it's gone to a little bit more. We've got to adjust. We've got to adjust our defensive philosophies a little bit to account for the Western Carolinas. We've got to account for the Sanfords of the world right now. But you're still going to have to line up and play ETSU, which is going to try to pound it down you a little bit. So I believe a lot of those teams, ETSU was young, Mercer was young. Furman was a little bit down at the time. I think that they were kind of just before Clay had gotten there in 2016. Wofford was still pretty darn good. We were just in 15, I believe they were down, but in 16 they were back. We had a really good fight with those guys. So really, it's all about timing. It's all about timing when you're hitting your upswing and you get some of those teams that are a little bit down, some of those teams that are just not ready for you. And that's what happened in 14, 15, and 16. They still didn't have quite the book of knowledge that they have on our offense right now. And then you give a team like Western Carolina 2 weeks to prepare like they did last week for you. That could be challenging.
What's the confidence level, mental state of your guys?
I think it's fine. We certainly could be better. After 3 straight losses, you're going to naturally have a little bit of a down. But body language is what we talked about the guys yesterday. Is we just need to have better body language out there. We're certainly a way better football team at times than we've showed. And then at times we've been pretty darn good out there. We've just got to capture the moments.
Final 4 games of the season, you can play true freshmen 4 games. Any plans, thoughts on it?
Yeah, we talked about it this morning as a staff. We've got a few guys in there that I think are going to have to play for us, that I would like to see play for us. Javante Graves-Billups is a guy that's been coming along. We've been getting him ready to play A-back, which is a little bit of a complicated position. I'd like to see him play a little bit there. On the defensive side, we may have to play some of the younger guys. over there. There's a couple guys that have had maybe one. Melvin Ravenel has maybe had one game or so in there where Melvin may have a chance to get in there. Melvin's come a long way since he got here in August. So those two guys right off the top of my head would be the guys that I think would have a chance to play in the next 4 or 5 games. And then, of course, Jamazin, who had to play last week, he's going to have to play, and maybe A.J. Trailer a little bit at safety.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks.